Hello, I'm Paul Brannan, Head of Campaigns at Christian Aid, and I'd like to ask you a question. What single change could transform the lives of millions of people in developing countries? The answer is an end to financial secrecy. The shadowy world of tax havens, of tax evasion and tax avoidance is a difficult one to explain. Even some accountants struggle to make it easy to understand. Fortunately, in this high-tech world with all of its computer graphics and its visual aids, I have the benefit of a banana. Imagine I'm a banana producer somewhere in South America and I want to sell my bananas to the UK. So I pick up the phone and make a deal. Right? Wrong. I'm a multinational company and I've set up my business so that it pays as little tax as possible.
My banana deal moves from tax haven to tax haven across the world, gathering costs on the way. 8 pence to my subsidiary in Luxembourg for financial services. 4 pence to another in Barbados for the brand. 4 pence to one in the Isle of Man for insurance. And 6 pence to my Liechtenstein subsidiary for management services. The charges will be levied by the sister companies of my multinational. The effect is to lower the on-paper profits when the banana eventually reaches the supermarket shelf.
And lower my tax bill, of course. Do bananas actually pass through these tax havens? No. Our banana only goes through an electronic transfer. In reality, my bananas are shipped from Latin America to the UK and into your supermarkets. So why does my fictitious company use tax havens? Simply, by pushing my profits through these tax havens, my company can save millions of pounds of tax every year. And where does that leave our banana producing country? Well, for every £1 worth of bananas sold in the United Kingdom, we declare just 1 penny in profit, so they receive a lot less in tax. And of course, tax dodging isn't just about bananas and tax havens. Around 60% of world trade is between companies owned and controlled by the same parent company. These companies are supposed to sell to each other at market prices. When the price is deemed to be the same as a market price, it's called transfer pricing. And when this price is artificially too high or too low, this becomes known as transfer mispricing and one of the most common forms of tax evasion. For example, if a multinational sells diamonds with a value of £100 to a subsidiary in a tax haven for £50, it has shifted £50 of profit out of the producer country. If it can then show that the diamond cost £50 to extract, it will declare no profit at all, pay no corporate income tax, and deny the producer country of much needed tax revenue. Another very similar form of tax evasion is false invoicing, where similar transactions to the diamond example take place between unrelated companies working in collusion with each other. What does this mean in reality? Well, let's take an everyday item like a hairdryer. Average value in a shop, £20. Transferred on paper between a company in the United States and an African country for a staggering £2,600. Obviously not the true value of the item, but a great way to reduce the company's tax bill in the African country. It's estimated that practices like this are costing developing countries an incredible $160 billion a year. That's almost twice the amount of money that they receive in international aid. And that's why Christian Aid is calling for the big tax return, and why Christian Aid thinks tax is a good thing.
Tax is the basis of a modern democracy. You cannot have democracy without revenues. You can't provide public services without revenue. And the best way of raising that revenue isn't through external aid contributions or through debt. Debt is the most expensive way of raising money. Tax is by far the best way.
Some countries are already seeing the benefits of receiving a fairer share of tax revenues, and they're putting the money to good use, helping the people who most need it.
In Bolivia, the poorest country in South America, popular protests supported by Christian Aid partner organisations has led to fairer taxation. It's meant that multinational companies exploiting the country's huge reserves of oil and gas are now having to pay a fair share of their profits. Companies which had been paying Bolivia as little as 18% of the value of their oil and gas are now paying 50%. This extra income has allowed the country to introduce a series of initiatives aimed at helping the poorest and most vulnerable people. One of these is a programme to provide nationwide free breakfasts for all primary school children. Teachers say that pupils are concentrating better in class, and more importantly, there's even evidence that their health is improving. It's not just young people who are benefiting from these changes. The country's older people have seen a big improvement in their lives too. Anyone over the age of 60 now receives a state pension. It's a tremendous boost in a country where most people face the prospect of life with no income at all when they were too old to work.
Es una ayuda grande para nosotros. Siempre hay ratos no hay para pagar de la luz, no se alcanza, de la agua, pasajes. Y a veces esas cositas invertimos en eso.